Today is September 9th. Oh, Monday, September 9th. Year of our Lord 2019. This is pre-algebra, Heartland Christian School, and we are going to first go over Friday's homework real quick. I'm going to go fast, so listen fast. Now that oh, by the way, I did loan out my teacher's edition, and I got it brought back to me on Friday. You should have written 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 as 9 with a little 5 over the top of it, and it said write it out in words. 9 to the 5th power. Say amen if you got that. Now I'll go to 14. I'm not going to go over every single one because we'll be here all day. Now I'll go to 14. I'm only going over 14 because it's not a number, it's a letter. You should have written n to the 6th power. That would be n with the exponent up there. And you should have written in words n to the 6th power in words. Now go to number 15. Any number with an exponent of 1 is that number. 6 to the 1st power is 2 million to the 1st power is. Now go to number toughest one, number 17. 2 to the 7th power. I'll be right back to get that sun out of your eyes, Case. What's 2 to the 7th, or Sid? 2 to the 7th, I can't believe I just did that. It's been a long time since I messed that up. 2 to the 7th power, Kiara.
Is it 168?
What is it?
168.
Anybody get 168? 2 to the 7th? Anybody else get 168? What'd you get, Isaac? 128. Say amen if you got 128. Amen. 2 to the 7th. That's all right. Just check your work. It's a simple mistake. How about number 19? 1 to the 8th power, Lorelei. What is 1 to the 8th power? 1. What's 1 to the 118th power, Elise? 1. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. It's always going to be 1. Go down to number 21. Number 21, 2 times 5, the quantity of 2 times 5 squared plus 9. Brett, the quantity of 2 times 5 squared plus 9. Might have forgot, unless I didn't hear your whole answer. All I heard you say was 100. 2 times 5, the quantity of 2 times 5, squared, plus 9, Brett. I think you just forgot to add the 9. 109? Yes. She is direct band.
Is that all? Oh yeah, we talked about this. Okay.
And he was okay.
Bible test.
Check with Mrs. Coy.
Okay, thank you.
Although Maylee took it, but you
Right,
can. Yep.
I'm less confused now, thank you.
Thank you. It's Monday.
Yeah.
And it's first Monday of the year, second.
First.
We did start on a Monday, but it was first day. We did not have Monday last week. Okay, everybody got 109 for number 21. Let's jump to number 25. What'd you get for 25? Micah, who got 3? Say amen if you got 3. Listen, here's how we do it. If you didn't get 3 for number 25, put a little slash through it. If you look it over again, you go, oh, I see what I did. Well, then we're good. If you look it over again, you're like, I got no idea how they got 3. You need to see me. Got it? Let's go to 27. If g equals 4, what is g to the 4th divided by 16? Rachel.
64.
What is it?
64.
Anybody else get 64? Bella?
6.
Anybody else get 6? Dominic? Uh-oh. Jane?
59.
Uh-oh. Mitch?
What?
Hold on.
Wait.
Hold on.
Wait.
Hold on. We're on the right track now. 4 to the 4th is 256. You didn't finish the problem. You got listen, there's 2 steps. 4 to the 4th is 256. Finish it. What's 256 divided by 16, Kiara?
16.
16. The correct answer for number 27 is 16. I guess I have to write that one on the board. If G is 4, first thing you got to do is the exponent. 4 times 4, 16. Times 4, 64. Times 4, 256. 256 divided by 16 is 16. By the way, that reminds me. You know how I'm always talking about mental math. And you should know all your 12 families by heart. And you should have by now gone on to like, hey, it would be cool if I knew my 13s and 14s and all that. But you should also maybe commit the perfect squares to memory. So then you would know automatically 256 is a perfect square because 16 squared is 256. What's wrong with memorizing those?
I
More
didn't
you do.
follow what you
Listen,
just said.
the more you didn't follow all that. Okay, I'm always emphasizing mental math, right?
Yeah.
And you should know your times tables through 12.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it slower now. What's wrong with knowing your the 13s? All students all over America are taught, hey, you got to know your times tables through 12. Why would you stop at 12 just because everybody else does? Why don't you memorize 13 times 6 is 78? More work?
Yeah.
No, it actually leads to less work. You're going to have math whether you like it or not in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. So it actually is going to lead to less work the more you can do mentally. I got to move on. Number 28. Since 27 was such a problem, I'm going to go to 28, make sure we tackle this. If G is 4, there's parentheses around the 3 plus G. If G is 4, we're going to raise that to the 3rd power. 3 plus G to the 3rd power. 3 plus G to the 3rd power. Micah! Who got 343? Give yourself a little pat on the shoulder case if you got 343 because 3 plus 4 is 7. What is 7 to the 3rd power? It's 7 times 7, which is, everybody said, 49. 49 times 7 is 343. And let's got to do 29 now. Since 28 was a little struggle as I looked around the room, not everybody was confident in 343. 29, David, happy birthday. 3G, this quantity of 3G, squared minus 25. No. 3G in parentheses squared minus 25. This is presenting a lot of problems here today. This evaluating. Evaluating shouldn't be as much of a problem. You're just plugging in numbers. What am I going to put in there for the G? They told me. What's G worth? 4. So this is, watch, 3G written next to each other. So 3 times 4 is 12 squared minus 25. Even if you didn't memorize your times tables back in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, most kids knew 12 times 12 because it was the last one in their times tables. You ever notice how that goes? Like you know the last one, you might not know some in the middle, but the highest one you actually knew. 12 times 12 is 144 minus 25. Lauren.
129.
Close. Dina.
119.
119. You were on the right track, Lauren. You just miscalculated in your subtraction. 119. Okay, are there any questions on that? We struggled through 27, 28, and 29. There is no stupid question. The only stupid question is, so listen, it's Monday morning. You're just trying to get through right now. You're trying to make it to lunch, and then maybe you'll be awake. But you got to ask if you don't understand. This was not easy to get through. Now that we did it together, if you were struggling, is it better now? Noah, can I trust you to, because I don't want to go back there, to close that? Have you ever done that before?
No.
You got to have a certain. Jaden, have you done it before?
No.
Go ahead. So that Sydney doesn't have to have it in her eyes the whole period.
Now it hurts.
Number 30. No, it's not one of those. You got to go like this. You hold them both together. Oh, you're doing it all right. Okay. Not the way I do it. But you kind of have to pull it one to the right or left. Both strings.
So you have to take it off the thing. Like
No. Here. I got it. Don't leave me, homeschoolers. Watch. For future reference. I pulled it to the left. It kind of locks it up there. Now watch. I pull it to the right, it kind of unlocks it.
Yeah. Wait.
Right side right. Okay?
That's how everyone works, doesn't it?
Okay, so now it's not your
Why don't
eyes,
you just get a regular
but you
line?
still have the sunshine on you, giving you some warmth there. All right, here we go. Number 30, critical thinking. If x squared equals x cubed, there's two possibilities for the answer for x. If x squared equals x cubed, first of all, is that possible? They told us it is, so we're going to go with it. It is possible, and they tell us that there's two possibilities that x could be. I only got one hand up. Two hands, is your hand up or not? I have one hand that's confidently wants to answer number 30. If x squared equals x cubed, we are told it is possible. Okay? What if x was 4? Is that true? No, obviously not. 4 squared is 16, 4 cubed is 64. That's not true. So x can't be 4. Okay, so keep thinking. I got two hands up now, 3. I got 3, he'll give me 4. I got 4 hands, he'll give me 5. I got 26 kids, I only got 4 hands up. I got 4 out of 26 that are confident to answer number 30. Jonathan Mitchell, go ahead, since you're... 1's one of the possibilities. Are you with us here, Noah? If I was to plug in 1 squared, is that the same as 1 cubed? What's 1 times 1?
1.
What's 1 times 1 times 1?
1.
So one of the possibilities for x in number 30z, x could be 1. It says there are two possibilities that x could be. Sydney, what's 2 squared? 2 times 2 is?
4.
What's 2 times 2 times 2? Because that's 2 cubed. Nope, doesn't work. They're not equal. Dominic.
I put x equals 0.
0. What's 0 times 0?
0.
What's 0 times 0 times 0?
0.
Okay, now let's revisit it. Everybody wake up Monday morning. Let's revisit number 30, Brett. Everybody's focused on 30. It tells us that for x squared to equal x cubed, for that to be a true statement, they got an equal sign there, they're saying it's true. There's only two possibilities for x. X either has to be 0 or 1. Everybody got it? Usually there's only one possibility for x, but in this case there's two. All right, number 31. Football, you bet. The season attendance at your schools, somebody in this teacher's district put Browns. The season attendance at your school's football games is 1,000 people one year. The attendance doubles each year for the next 3 years. 1,000 people, for the next 3 years, that number doubles. Write an expression with a power that shows the season attendance after 3 years. Did anybody want to take a shot at this?
Yes. Yes.
The first season we're talking about, 1,000 people went to the game. For the next 3 years, the attendance kept doubling. How would I figure out how many people attended 3 years later? Yes, Crowther.
1,000 to 6 pounds.
No, that's close. Not 1 to the 6th power. thinking. Bella,
1,000 times 2 choose 35.
did you hear that? The first season, 1,000 people went to the game. Every year after that,
Double.
and how many years down the road are we talking about?
3.
So it's going to double, which means times, but it's going to double to the third power. Hey, listen, now we're getting, it's 2 weeks into school. Today is 2 weeks since school started, right? We started you with, we're just going to see if you know how to work with fractions, know how to work with decimals, because fractions and decimals are numbers too, right? He did it again. They're numbers too. And then we moved into stuff that you kind of already knew, and we weren't really doing any algebra yet. Here's the biggest difference between everything you've done in math so far through 6th grade or 7th grade and algebra. Now you're going to have to start, it's going to start challenging your mathematical sense, not just your arithmetic ability, not just your computation ability. How many did Math Olympics computation and did well? Okay, that's one skill. That's one skill. How many did Math Olympics reasoning? The story problems. And did well. Okay? In algebra, you're going to be challenged because maybe for some of you, it's the first time you have to actually stop and think about the problems and the solutions to the problems. Because up until now, mostly you're just, I got to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. I really don't have to put a whole lot of thought in it. I'm just computing. Okay, so listen, if right now, how many right now feel like, wow, this is the first time all year that I'm kind of not understanding everything? Be honest. 1, 2. So if 4 people are putting their hand up, there's probably at least double that really are having first time they've had any challenge. Again, don't get discouraged. It's the first time for some of you that you've ever really had to think, right? You've been computing. Let's face it, as you went through your curriculum through 6th grade, there was maybe 2, 3, at the most 4 story problems in every lesson. You just did them. If you got them right, you didn't care. You know, that was okay. Okay, you listen to the teacher. Oh, okay, I guess I kind of get it. I don't. We'll just go to the next lesson. You got all the computation right. And the story problems are for those other people. They must be really smart. Well, now you're being challenged. And if you just stay with me, what do we say? It's going to stay not very difficult if you stay with me one small step at a time. Okay? So think. It's 1,000 times. The attendance is going to increase. It's going to double for 3 straight years. So it's not just going to double once. It's going to double again. It's going to double again. So we're going to take that double means 2, to the third power. That was a tough one. That might have been the toughest math problem you've ever had in your life. Maybe. Because you had to understand what they were saying. They started at 1,000 and they had to, it increased, it doubled 3 straight years. Does anybody know what the answer is if you play that out? How many people were going to the games 3 years later?
Like the answer I got? 2,000 to the third power.
No. No. Oh, order of operations. Micah says 2,000 to the third power. What's the second letter in the order of operations stand for? Exponents. So you got to do the 2 to the third power first. What's 2 times 2 times 2? 8. So now you do the multiplication. What's 1,000 times 8?
8,000.
So now they got 8,000. They're on the rise. Team must be getting better. Everybody's like, hey, did you go to the game? Yeah, let's go. Number 32. Is 3 squared greater than, less than, or equal to 2 cubed? Casey, what's 3 squared? It's not 3 times 2. What's 3 squared? It's 3 times just squared. What's 3 squared? What's the little 2 mean above it? 3 squared means 3 times 3. Just 2 3s. 9. What's 2 cubed, Jordan? It's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is?
4.
Times 2. 8. So what you're doing is you're comparing 9 to 8. What signs you put in between? We're in middle school now. You should all have a grasp of however it is you remember it. Pac-Man, Shark, I don't know. I've heard all these different ways of remembering it. To me, it's been so easy. I've got a little tip here and a big space there. That means greater than. 9 is greater than 8. Number 32, 3 squared is greater than 2 cubed. Everybody got it? Number 33, Isaac, 5 to the 4th. Greater than, less than, or equal to 4 to the 5th. He says less than, and he's correct. Did you get it right? 5 to the 4th is 5 times 5, 25, times 5, 125, times 5, 625. 4 to the 5th is 4 times 4, 16, times 4, 64, times 4, 256, times 4, and at that point you're like, oh, that's going to be way more, right? So you should have a less than. 5 to the 4th is less than 4 to the 5th, because this takes you to 1012. No, 1024. All right, number 34. 10 to the 1st compared to 1 to the 10th. 10 to the 1st compared to 1 to the 10th. Man, that's a big exponent up there. 1 to the 10th? That must be really big, Elise. What's 1 to the 10th, Elise? And what's 10 to the first power? 10 to the first power. 10. So you're comparing 10 to 1. Noah says 10 is greater than 1, don't you, Noah? Turn the page. And that brings us to get you ready for tomorrow's actual quiz. You've got a little practice quiz here on page 25. You can get to work. You've got 13 minutes and 13 problems. And since 13 is your lucky number, I am here to help you through it. There's a chance then you might get done or almost done with page 15. And you'll leave here today feeling confident that if the quiz is like this, that you'll do pretty well. Yes, Z. You may go to the restroom. We're doing page 25, the review quiz in the book, which is setting you up for success for tomorrow's actual quiz. Again, use me. I'm here for your convenience. If there's something you don't understand, raise your hand. I also like to rhyme. And we do have time. You did the review quiz?
No, the other thing.
Also, you did it just now?
Yeah, Joe.
Nice. We didn't even turn it in. I ran out of time. So actually,
Should we turn it
yeah, the homework you did last Thursday, it was due Friday. And if you left it somewhere else, which you shouldn't because you should have everything nice and organized in your math folder, pass those and funnel them to Lorelei. The only one I have right now is Ethan's.
You want the one with all
The one from Thursday that was due Friday, it's page, yeah, page 18, 11 through 26.
Rachel.
The good news is, our book's not going to be yours in about 3 days. More good news. Spencer's a little concerned. His book got a little wet. For most of you in here, if not all of you, praise the Lord, ready? These rotten books that are falling apart, you're all going to have better books, hopefully by Wednesday.
26 new books.
Oh, we're getting the books.
Yours is actually really good. Mine is.
Yeah, turn them both in. Funnel them all to Lorelei. She's the secretary of the day. All right, listen. You need to get to work, so if there's a problem you're having, I can help you address it. I'm going to stay on video in case they have questions, and they match your questions, homeschoolers. We'll communicate sometime today whether you're coming in to take the quiz or I'm going to share that document with you if you're homeschooled. Everything's been funneled to Lorelei, I hope. And I still got 11 minutes to help, and you got 11 minutes to make sure you have limited homework. So if there's something you're not understanding, please speak now. Or until tomorrow, hold your peace. Somebody had a hand up over there. Sid the Kid. I can hear you. Okay. They start you right off the bat with a story problem. Home runs. The table shows the record number of home runs hit in a single season by position. Now, Brett is going to maybe have some argument here because Brett likes stats, and this book was printed when? 2005. So these records are probably not still valid, but at that time, the record for home runs by position, you're supposed to make a bar graph that displays that data. So, bar graph, I got to have two axes, a horizontal and a vertical. So here's the first thing I do, Sid. Now, my next decision is, Noah, do I want this bar graph to be horizontal or vertical? Do I want my bars to go vertically or do I want my bars to go horizontal? That's your choice, but the choice has to be made because you have to decide, is the scale going to be horizontal and the label's up here, or is the scale going to be vertical and the label's down here? Most bar graphs you see are vertical, but they don't have to be. You might be thinking, you want to make a horizontal one. I'm going to make a vertical one, okay? So if I'm making a vertical bar graph, how many positions are in my table? Look at the table of positions. How many total positions are there? 6. 7. So I'm going to have seven different labels down here. You with me? And I'm going to go ahead and make them the same order that they got them there. So I would go catcher. Oh, another thing. Remember, if you're doing this on graph paper, you don't want to put your labels in the middle between the lines, but your scale you're going to want to put on the line. Okay. Oh, okay. Ready? So, Sid, I got catcher, first, pitcher. Is that the order they went for real? Second, shortstop, third base. I hope they went in that order. And outfield. So I've got these 7 labels. Now your next question, Sydney, is what's my scale going to look like? What's the lowest number of home runs for the record at that position? 9. What's the highest? My range goes from 9 to, no, my range goes from 9 to 73. So I've got to decide, how much am I going to make each of my lines as I go up my bar graph? They all have to be equal. How much am I going to make each one equal to? Am I going to go by 10s? If it was me, I'd go by 10s. I'd be going 10, 20, etc. And I have to make sure I go all the way up to 80. Because the highest is 73. So I want to go beyond 70. 50, 40, 30. Ignore my artwork and look at how I'm 2 axes, labels down here, each position, value on the left. So I'm going to have a bar for the catcher that goes up to 41. It's going to go just beyond the 40 line, just a smidge. Bar graph. Should your bars touch each other? No. Got it? Any further questions?
Can you walk in the homework?
Excuse you?
Can you make it so that less homework?
I'm trying.
Oh.
But I got to make sure you're ready for tomorrow's quiz. It's your first, like,
How about you skip
real
to 9?
grade. What's that?
Just skip to 9 and then.
Well, that wouldn't make sure you're ready, dear. I'll be like Coach Wright saying, we got to make sure you're ready for Friday's game, but we're just going to take an hour off of practice every day. How's that getting you ready for Friday's game? Tomorrow's the game. This is practice. Tomorrow's the game.
So a game you play and homework is good.
No, your quiz tomorrow.
Well, not playing. It's not actually my game.
Who you play?
Sonia.
My alma mater.
Well, we already
Do you want me to sing the Latonia alma mater right now?
Yeah.
They're not that good.
I do.
We already scrimmaged them and beat
Yeah,
them.
we scrimmaged. We beat them
I
in the
know.
scrimmage. Yeah, we beat them in the scrimmage.
I went from growing up on the south side of Youngstown, my first 10 years, to Latonia. That was a weird transition.
My dad used to ride the school bus up that big hill. There was like
I lived right on top of that big hill.
Yeah.
I rode my bike up that big hill, and don't doubt me. Many times. Many times. Actually, there was a convenience store down at the bottom, and I had to go down the hill, sometimes carry 2 gallons of milk
Over the tree.
up the hill. No, just, it was right at the bottom. Okay, we're down to 4 minutes, and I only got 1 question so far. That makes me lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely.
I have reading.
Yes. I forgot 9. That's funny.
You're going to think this is weird. But remember how we do things. If you do your homework, you get credit. What are we doing today? Making sure we're ready for the game. The game, you got to get the grade. I can't just give you a grade because you did it. I'm giving you the answers because we're running out of time to numbers 5 and 6. Why am I doing that? Because you're going to work through number 5 and 6. You know what the silly middle schooler would do? Not do 5 and 6 and just write the answer. What's that do for you? Nothing. Okay? If you were in first grade, I wouldn't do this. But you're in 7th and 8th, you've got some scruples, right? You're not just going to write the answers to 5 and 6 down. That doesn't do you any good for tomorrow. I'm giving you the answers in advance because we're down to 3 minutes, so that when you do 5 and 6, do it and see if you get 20 for number 5. See if you get 15 for number 6. Because if you don't, you've got to figure out where you're going wrong with the order of operations. That makes sense, Dominic? You're done with everything? You've done all 1 through 13. I hope you got them right.
I'm still on number 1.
I hope you're checking 5 and 6. Make sure you got those right since I gave them to you. But I gave you those 2 because it's in that section 3 through 8 that's testing your order of operations. And we had trouble with that. We had trouble with evaluating today. So If you don't get 20 for number 5, you got to check your order of operations. How are they getting 20? If you don't get 15 for number 6, how's that 15? I know you're all working and you're kind of half listening. When you get to number 9, remember, the plant is already how high? It's already 14 inches. So start with 14, and then it's going to increase in height. So you're going to add something to 14. I hope that helps you when you get started. Remember, the plant's already 14. Now you got to figure out how you're going to translate the English there, that paragraph, into algebra. Starts at 14. It's growing taller. You're going to add. They don't tell you exactly, but they give you information that's going to help you figure out. It's going to grow 4 inches each year. So if X equaled number of years, I could figure out how tall that plant would be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 12 years. I'm going to give you one more answer you have to check against yourself. Number 11, the answer is 55. So when you get to 11, make sure you get 55. So your first grade tomorrow. Let's do this. It's a win-win when you do well. You know why? There are no set number of A's. Everybody can get an A. And you know what a delight it is when the teacher goes to grade something, they go, I don't have to mark anything. You know how fast that goes? I mean, not only am I happy that you got a good grade, it's like easier on me too. See ya tomorrow.
I